Dinosaurs. They ruled the earth, and then an asteroid came, and then they all died. Unless you're a Christian fundamentalist, and then the dinosaurs lived alongside people, and they were like our best buds, or like our dogs, and we could ride them around, but they could eat us. I don't exactly know how any of that works. But there is one thing I think we could all agree on, and that is dinosaurs are cool as hell. Prehistoric reptiles of all shapes and sizes. We all had a favorite dinosaur growing up. Mine was the Ankylosaurus, or the Ankylosaurus, or the dinosaur with a club on his tail. And then in 1993, Jurassic Park came out, and that already inherent coolness of dinosaurs skyrocketed. Jurassic Park changed the public perception of dinosaurs forever. One day, a deep dive on dinosaurs in media is needed. Dinosaurs in TV shows, dinosaurs in movies, dinosaurs in video games. I played Dinosaurs for Hire on Sega relentlessly as a kid. Dinosaurs may have been extinct from the physical world, but they lived and thrived in popular culture and within our hearts and minds. So, riddle me this, Batman. Why does it seem that with all the effortless coolness that exists within dinosaurs, that Hollywood can't figure out how to make a good dinosaur movie? Again, it's like Jurassic Park came out in 1993 and everyone said, well, pack it up. It'll never be as good as this, so let's not even try. Movies within its own franchise don't even seem to be trying. Jurassic World Rebirth is the latest installment in this franchise that seems to be reinforcing this pattern. And while it doesn't stoop to the pitiful lows of a few of its predecessors, namely Fallen Kingdom and Dominion, it also doesn't reach any new heights, or worse, doesn't even try. For this review, I'll keep the first couple minutes spoiler-free, but as I progress into the review and the video, I will have to venture into spoiler territory. But of course, I will sound the spoiler siren. Think of it like the electric fence from Jurassic Park. Get off that fence if you're not ready for spoilers. That metaphor works, I think. The latest entry in the franchise is technically a continuation of the previous films. I say that with some shock in my voice because I was not aware that was the case, but it does take place a few years after Dominion, and we follow some health tech guy who wants to secure dino DNA, that's a reference, to help create new medicine for like cardiac arrest or heart problems, something of that nature. He hires Jonathan Bailey's character, Dr. Henry Loomis, no relation to Scream or Halloween, and he's like a doctor, paleontologist, dinosaur doctor of some kind. And then he hires, of course, Scarlett Johansson's character, Zora, no relation to the Zelda games, and she's like an ex-mercenary of some kind. The details escape me. I saw the movie like a week and a half ago. And of course, they have to go to this island, which is forbidden because it's very dangerous, but the catch is this island was abandoned because they had an accident and it was overrun by mutated dinosaurs. Dinosaurs that were being experimented on, hybrid dinosaurs of sorts. Look, we aren't breaking any new stride with the story, not necessarily something that a lot of people are expecting, but weirdly enough, one of the downgrades in this movie is that it doesn't really give us anyone to root for. I think they want us to root for Scarlett Johansson's character or Jonathan Bailey's character, especially towards the second half, but it's hard to connect with any character when every line of dialogue is bogged down with expository details. Every conversation is explaining what's happening next, what the mission is going to be. It never allows characters to actually breathe and grow, never allowing us to connect with them. Eventually, the movie introduces us into an entirely new family towards the beginning middle. They are just out in the water trying to survive. A few of them I found unlikable, but that does give us somebody to root for. It's not much, but it's something. There is one specific thing I think this movie's doing extremely well at, and that's giving us a damn good-looking Jurassic World movie. Not as good as the first two, or arguably the first three, maybe that's a hot take, but so much better looking than all of the Jurassic World movies combined. If you look at Gareth Edwards' filmography, you can see that he's proven time and time again he is a director with vision. He's talented with a camera, especially when it comes to the emphasis of scale. For the first time in what feels like a long time in this franchise, the dinosaurs in Jurassic World Rebirth feel larger than life. The environments feel vast and dangerous, and the people that fill the frames feel so small and insignificant compared to the world around them, and that's something that's been gravely missing from the Jurassic World franchise. This reminder that we as humans are very small in this world, especially compared to these creatures. This is hands down the best feature of the movie. What else is there to say? The dinosaurs look good. Yay. The dinosaurs have always looked good. That's never been an issue in this franchise. Scarlett Johansson. This is strange because in 2019, she was nominated for 2 Oscars in the same year. Leading actress for Marriage Story, supporting actress for Jojo Rabbit. Now, she didn't win either of them, but the point is, I think it's very clear she's a great actress. And yet, there is something so lifeless and stilted about this performance. The delivery of her lines, the lack of chemistry with anyone on screen, I found a lot of it really distracting. Jonathan Bailey is good as the quirky, handsome scientist, kind of Ian Malcolm-esque character, minus the self-deprecating humor and the chaos of that character. Chaos? 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 Mahershala Ali is maybe the most interesting character as the friend of Scarlett Johansson's character and this kind of reluctant hero. Plus, it's Mahershala Ali. He's one of the best working actors today. It's almost like he should be in more movies. Maybe he should play a vampire. Maybe a vampire named Blade. He should play Blade, the vampire. Speaking of movies that no one can figure out, how could we not figure out Blade? It's a vampire who hunts vampires. It's right there. I digress, but this is a perfect segue to get into spoiler territory. I never particularly understood why we assigned someone as a villain in these movies. Their motivations are typically weak, very cliche, and more often than not distract us from the crux of why these movies are exciting and why we want to watch them, aka the dinosaurs. So yes, predictably, the guy who wants to try and make medicine is actually the bad guy. Dun dun dun. He's willing to sacrifice human lives in order to fill his pockets. He becomes a predictable roadblock for our heroes and dies in a predictable manner, eaten by a dinosaur. Yay? More annoyingly, this movie commits what I find to be one of the cardinal sins of screenwriting and of scripts. It's cowardly. And by that I mean this. They give us 5 to 6 new main characters they clearly want us to connect with. Then they surround the main characters with a lot of side characters that they clearly do not want us to connect with. And then when things get intense in the film, guess who they kill off? This is a very basic and boring approach to film that severely restricts a movie's access to tension. If the audience knows you're unwilling to sacrifice a main character, how then can true tension be illustrated? Flash forward to the end of the movie, Mahershala Ali's character is seemingly willing to make this brave sacrifice for the group by leading away the main mutant dinosaur. Cue Scarlett Johansson's character being very sad that she's about to lose her friend. The flare goes out and we think, oh no, he's died. But he's made this very brave sacrifice. Just kidding, a flare goes off in the distance, and guess what? He's perfectly fine. This to me is immensely frustrating. It's one thing to have no stakes, but to pretend there's consequence and then to last minute reverse it is cheap and empty. It reminded me a lot of that one time when everyone thought Chewbacca died in Star Wars, and then in the next scene immediately after that ship blew up, it turns out, oh, Chewie was not on that ship. See what I mean? Cheap, cowardly. I mentioned this earlier, but the movie does try to replicate some of the famous scenes from the first Jurassic Park. I was alluding to the kitchen scene in that movie. They do a variation of that in this film. Not as good as the original, but hey, clearly someone knows how to generate suspense, so they wanted to tap into that. But overall, I think I enjoyed the final act the most. It's the one part of the movie where I feel like they're really just letting loose. Mutated dinosaurs are everywhere, stalking the heroes, and Gareth Edwards does a great job composing a lot of those chase and action sequences. Speaking of mutated dinosaurs, I feel like a lot of this movie's excitement was predicated on the idea that we were going to see some really just bonkers designs of dinosaurs. Felt tame. Actually, a lot of this movie feels like it wants to be this horror dinosaur film, especially with the opening sequence, which features this like Rancor-esque dinosaur breaking out and kind of killing these scientists in this lab. And there are seeds of this really interesting horror dinosaur film spread throughout the movie, but none of them get watered. That was a good metaphor. Maybe it's the PG-13 restriction. At this point, if they truly want to make something visceral and intense, they have to be willing to take a risk. And I think that's why this movie feels so average. It plays it safe. Again, some notable scenes here and there. I like the raft scene, and I really like the third act. And the story doesn't go completely off the rails, a la Jurassic World Dominion. Remember the locusts? Locust Gate. But walking out of the movie, the question that kept going through my head was, why can we not make a good dinosaur movie? It doesn't even have to be Jurassic Park related. Remember 65? That was a bust. Are studios afraid to take on dinosaurs because they feel like Jurassic Park has a monopoly over them? I don't exactly understand, but what I do know is that dinosaurs deserve a lot better than what they've been getting recently. And you know what the worst part is? Jurassic World Rebirth is likely the beginning of a new cycle of safe and unimaginative dinosaur movies. Bring back Land Before Time. Hey, at least that movie had the gall to kill off a big character in the beginning of the movie. But that's it. That's the end of the review. Let me know your thoughts on Jurassic World Rebirth. Were you a fan? Were you not a fan? Let's talk about it. Next time on the channel, we have a stacked July ahead of us. I'm going to try to get a video out on all the big movies, Superman, Fantastic Four, whatever else is coming out in July. Also, are people interested in longer video essay type stuff, like 25 minutes plus? I mentioned a lot of topics and concepts that I genuinely am interested in diving into, but I want to make sure there's an interest from you out there. I'm also still working on the video game movie adaptation ranking. I took a little bit of break, but I'm back on it this week. I'm going to try to knock out those last couple of movies to watch. But other than that, thank you so much for everyone's feedback. Please leave a like and comment and do all those things for YouTube. Until next time, have a great day, night, weekend, and I'll see you guys later.